Welcome to The System Works, the lifestyle channel that shows you who you are, what you truly want, and how to get it. The System Works. Own it. Welcome to The System Works. I'm your host, Ernest Phillips, and we have an awesome episode today. This is one of my favorites. It's personal to me, and it is something that I only learned within the last about 6 or 7 years, and it's a blockbuster. Listen, leading with power, leading with authority, servant leadership, all these different types of leadership, it is hard enough to do when you have the title, when you have the authority, when you have the power. So how in the world can you lead without any of that? Okay? And we're going to show you the 3 parts to leading without a title or without power. Okay, so the 3 parts. Number 1, establish your professional brand. Number 2, make your boss's job easier or better. And part 3, help your team. Okay, so the first one, establish your professional brand. Now, the first thing you have to do is know what your brand is. And you can do that by finding out what your strengths are, your weaknesses. You can do the values fingerprint and find out what your personal brand is. Take the parts that apply to work and do that. But you have to have a personal brand. This is an intentional way of being. Now, my personal and professional brand are a combination of my personal brand and emotional intelligence. Why do I choose emotional intelligence? Because studies have shown that those individuals with a higher level of emotional intelligence are more likely to get a job, keep a job, be promoted. So as far as I'm concerned, that is like the Excalibur of work in terms of success. So I'll give you a story. I did some work. I was working for an organization, and we did a lot of things with career transition, helping people get back into school, finding out what their career is. And within 3 months, I had already established my professional brand. And I didn't know I had done that. I'm just doing my job, doing what I do. And I was doing all 3 of these things. And what happened was I had a birthday. And one of my coworkers decided, they went around and they did one of those word clouds to describe me. And they gave it to me and they put it in black and yellow because I'm a diehard Steelers fan. So that was obvious that they knew that because, casual Fridays, I was always in Steeler gear. So they knew that. And they did a word cloud. So again, after 3 months of a brand new job with a brand new team, these were the top 10 words on this: loyal, comedian, confident, eager to help, animated, insightful, genuine, fun, hilarious, smart. If I get called those 10 things all day, I'm going to feel pretty doggone good about myself. And absolutely my favorite thing in the world was the biggest one was loyal. I'm not a dumb guy. I've got some pretty good things. I'm also one of those smart, dumb guys. There's things that I just miss, and I'm okay with that. Somebody said it was part of my charm. I'm like, yeah, if you say so. No, loyal. That has been part of my personal and professional brand forever. I am the guy who I am all about team. I want to be the company man. I want to build the company. I want that. I'm going to be loyal to the end. I've had friends that I still have that I met in the 2nd grade. I am loyal. And the fact that they saw that, I don't recall talking to them about being loyal. I don't remember talking to them about anything that would have made me try to sound smart. I am eager to help. I mean, that's about servant leadership. I am definitely animated. Okay, that one was an easy one. Fun. Yeah, okay, I get that one too. Hilarious. Thank you for the compliment, because I think I'm hilarious. But again, my jokes are target audience. So if I ever tell a joke on this and you don't laugh, just know it's okay. You weren't the target audience for it. Someone laughed. It just wasn't you. But someone laughed, even if it was just me. So after 90 days, I had established my professional brand. Boom. Now they know what to expect from me, and I'm going to be able to do that because that's my brand. Okay, the second one, make your boss's job easier or better. Now, this takes a little bit of work. Find out what matters to them. Find out what they think is important in your job, in their job. Find out the language, the part of the company mission that they are passionate about. Do your research, ask the questions, ask other managers if you have access to them. And now you can do things intentionally that will make their job easier or better. So decades ago, I used to sell suits in a department store. And my manager was one of these really cool people, and I had a great deal of respect for him. And so I would ask questions of, hey, what are some of the things that you are measured by? And she was like, what do you mean? I'm like, all right, I have my sales goals. What are yours? And one of them that was her sales goals was credit card applications. Well, I really never like to ask for those. And most people who have ever done any sort of department sales, no one really likes to ask for it. But since that was on her metrics, I started asking, and I started to get more of them. And it ended up getting her a little bonus because my little contribution added with everybody else's moved her up to the next level, showed improvement. It made her look good. So now that she knew that I was doing that intentionally, one time she comes to me and she says, next month, we are doing a manager goal for customer accommodations. That's where you ask the customer, please fill out this 5-question thing to say how good we are, yada, yada, yada. And the manager with the most of those will win some prize. So on the first day of that month, I set out to get as many as I could. And I was jamming. So it's also like asking for a referral, but hey, we don't need you to do this, but hey, would you take the time and would you do this? I was asking for people who didn't even buy stuff. I sold suits and professional attire. I was asking for them just in saying, hey, I know you didn't buy anything, but hopefully I gave you good service. And I would lead them, and they was like, well, yeah, actually, hey, would you do me a favor? It would really help. Just if you could fill out this real quick. And I have no idea to this day how many I put in. But I do know one thing. My manager won the contest. So now, what do you think happens with that relationship? When I need a day off, if I want extra shifts, if I have a new idea, my manager is going to be so excited to give me what I want, what I need. My job is now better. If there's a promotion, if there is a raise, if there's anything she's going to be able to do for me, she's going to do that because I've made her job better and easier. So ask the questions and then get there. It'll make a huge part. So the third is help your team be better. Everyone's going to typically have the same problems if you're doing the same job. Okay? I mean, that's just a pretty norm. But finding out what your teammates need that they can do to make their job better is a great way, to make your team better. But again, if you want to be able to lead without authority, without power, one of the hardest persons to lead is someone who is at the same level as you. It's the why are you telling me what to do? Because you are doing the same thing I am. You have the same title that I have. So who do you think you are? You get to swipe right by all that. So one of my favorite examples of this is back in the 1990s. I know. All right. So there's a reason why I'm giving you a date, because I was in a sales position, and what we would have to do once we got the person on the phone, we have to make the sale, then we have to send them a contract, have them sign it, then we have to walk through them. So the only way to do that was you would have to make the sale, get off the phone, go to the corner of the office, and then you would have to use a fax machine. For those of you who do not know what that, it's kind of like scanning, only it was slow and you needed a telephone line and you needed to make sure they had their fax machine on. If you sent it when somebody else was sending it, it wouldn't go through. So you had to do all these double checks to make sure it went through. And then you had to get them back on the phone and walk through it so then they could sign it and fax it back to us. And then we had to literally go back, get it, and then call them back a third time. So the closing process was basically 3 separate phone calls. Can you imagine how difficult it is to make a sale when you have to get them on the phone and interact 3 times after you made the sales call? We were losing so much money because we were losing people in that process. So I did my research. I figured out how much money a fax machine was going to cost, and I pitched to my manager to have a fax machine at my desk. And he immediately said, absolutely not, because if you get it, then everybody's going to want it. And I said, give me 30 days. And I guarantee you, you give me 30 days with a fax machine at my desk, and it's going to get you a promotion and a raise. That was my sales pitch. And so he said, well, what if it doesn't? I said, I'll take you out to lunch for a week. You pick the restaurant. Let's go. So I get a fax machine at my desk. So now as I'm talking to these people, I'm asking for their fax machine. I'm faxing it to them. And then I would say, hey, if you heard something, my fax just came through. I will hold, you go get it, then we can walk through it. Then they would come back, we would sign it, and I said, I will hold if you fax it back to me. And now I have it. The conversation would take longer, but our closing percentage went up so far, it was crazy. Within 2 weeks, every single one of the people on the sales manager team had a fax machine at their desk, and now I got a bonus because I got to take the time to now train everybody in the process of doing it the way that I'd done it. I made money. My closing sales went up. Everybody around me made more money. The entire department made more money. My boss made more money. His boss made more money. The company made more money. I figured out something. I made my sales pitch. My teammates absolutely practically loved me after that. So many people would take me out to lunch so often when they would get more bonuses because they now had more money. Oh, one of the guys even gave me his gift certificate that we won in a sales promotion to Ruth Chris. First time I ever went there, because I wasn't trying to do Ruth Chris kind of money back then. And still to this day, that was one of the best steaks I've ever had. So free promotion for you, Ruth Chris. I made my team better. So just in that one example, what I did was I established a professional brand. I made my boss's job easier. I made my team better. And then I had the respect and influence. So then when I needed something, or if I had a new idea, everyone was open to my ideas. And that was how that worked. So here's the tug tip. Leading by example does not require others to follow. I was doing my job the way I believed it can be done. And by doing that, I was creating the influence and the credibility that then I could lead without the title, without the power. And that manager did a 180. He used to not be a big fan of me. But after that, oh yeah, I had a friend and it was him. So go out, practice that. So again, those are 3 parts. If you do just one of them, you're going to be more likely to be able to lead someone else. If you do 2 of them, now you're up in your game. If you do all 3, this is the best way to get all of that out. So, I mean, what's in it for you? What's the Wi-Fi? More money, more influence, more respect, more power without having to do anything. The usual things that people tell you, hey, if you do this, this is what you get. So, hey, try it out. Let me know how it works. Give me your successes, and because I love to hearing those. So, all right, we will see you again. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. The System Works. Own it. We hope you enjoyed this episode of The System Works. Have fun with the action steps. Enjoy the Wi-Fis. Click like, click subscribe, and comment. The good and the bad, we like them all. We look forward to seeing you next time. The System Works. Own it.